Morning, everyone. Top of the morning, y'all. Welcome back to the show. Back at it again. Been a while for a way, but you know how we do it. A lot of us, we take our breaks, but we still in the community. We around. What I want to talk to you guys today a little bit about is I want to talk to you guys about a particular franchise. I want to talk to you guys about the film 13 Ghosts. For those of you who may not know or are not aware, that a lot of you guys that are probably in the search age bracket, you guys are aware of the 2001 film of the 13 Ghosts. But if you guys are not aware that there was an original film, the 2001 version was actually the remake version. The original version of the 13 Ghosts came out in the 1960s. And that's what I want to break down to you guys real quick. I want to give you my thoughts and opinions about which one of these films do I think was the best. You guys see I'm out here in getting some of this good fresh air. It's the winter time. You got a nice breeze out here. You got the palm trees in the back area. You guys not aware? Obviously, you can see the palm trees. No, I'm not in LA right now. I'm not in beach cities. I'm out here actually still in Inland Empire. I'm out here in Palm Springs. For some reason they call Palm Springs the mini Hollywood. I don't know, but I don't really see what the big deal is about calling this a big mini Hollywood. But anyways, as I said, I'm out here in not Palm Desert, but Palm Springs. But anyways, as I said, you got the nice little sunrises coming. As you can see, I don't want to give y'all too much, but that sunrise coming in the background. Got them palm trees, nice, good palm trees. Anyways, get back on point. The 13 Ghosts. So the franchise of 13 Ghosts. Now, I don't want to be biased with this film because I actually am a huge fan of the 2001 version of the 13 Ghosts. Arguably, I would say when we got into the 2000s, I would say arguably that's one of the top horror films put out in the 2000s that I've seen so far since leading up till now. Right now, one of the best films that was put out in the 2000s. As I told you guys, the remake film came out in 2001, the early, very beginning of the 2000s, but the original came in the 1960s. Now, like I said, I don't want to be biased, so I'm going to just bear with me real quick. Now, as far as we're talking about which film do I like best, it's going to be very tough. And, I'm split decision because there's some pros and some cons with this franchise when you're talking about the original 1960 versions compared to the old version. Now, I will say this. Definitely. Like I said, I love the 2001 version. I definitely, especially with having Matthew Lillard in the film, I think it really made the film stand out with Matthew Lillard in the film. But there's a lot of things that was wrong that you guys may not aware. A lot of things that's wrong with the 2001 film of the the remake version of 13 Ghosts. For example, number one, I would just, we don't have to go number one. I would just say the 2001 film is nothing like the 1960 versions. Once again, the 2001 version of the 13 Ghosts is nothing like the 1960 version of the 13 Ghosts. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, you're talking about two separate, different entities. Even though I love the 2013, not the 2013, but the 2001, I love that film, man. I'm telling you, I love it. One of my best films in the earlys, but yeah, I got a change of heart. When I'm just thinking about sitting this weekend when I went and I'm watching the 1960 version, I actually watched it like 2 times. And after watching it 2 times back to back in the same day this weekend, I realized that the 2000, even though I love the 2001 version, it has nothing on the 1960 versions. I think that overall, that the 1960 version is a better film. It was better put together. Now, I know a lot of people, they tend to say, oh, well, the new version stuff, it was much better compared to the older version because we have all the new technology and all the special effects and all that, etc. But you guys have to be willing to take yourselves outside of that and look at the film as a whole. Honestly, I would have to say that the story structure, the story plot, the character flow, everything with the 1996 version was completely better, way better than the 2001 version. It's only one thing that I will say that the 2001 version did better than the 1960 version, and that was the 2001 version. I think I like how they brought out the characters more of the 13 Ghosts. I like how they really was very descriptive with the 13 Ghosts and the backstory that they presented with the 13 Ghosts. They did a hell of a job with that. That was an A+ for the 2001 film version. But that was the only thing. But other than that, the 1960 version, it completely destroyed the 2001 version. I mean, the story plot itself was the good. The character play, the character flow was definitely beast mode. If you guys understand about, if you're really into television, or if you ever took any film television classes, or a field of study or something like that, you will understand what I mean about the character play and everything. You guys got to understand that's the difference between the back in the days compared to this era where we are now. A lot of people tend to take for granted how good and unique that the actors and actresses were that was a part of the success of a film, whether or not it could make or break a film. And back then, when you're talking about from the 1960s all the way up into the 90s, you had that good character play. The characters were feeding off of each other, and making it believable. That definitely stood out to me with the 1960 version. Another thing, if you guys watch the 2001 version, if you've never watched the 1960 version, go back and look at the 1960 version, and you'll see that the plot and everything was nothing like the plot and everything of the 2001 version was nothing like the 1960 version. Was just completely just like, what is going on here? Now I know some would say like if the director felt that they wanted to go in a little bit of direction, like kind of flip the roles around, but it was by what they did in the 2001 version. It just made no sense as far as being a remake film of the 1960 version. It made no sense. Excuse me. As I said, the storyline, everything was hell of a good with the 1960 version. But then the 2001 version, I'm like, where were they going with this? I mean, for example, in the 2001 version, they did not have the housemaid of the house there. That which she played a important factor in the franchise in that film. The housekeeper, the housemaid, AKA slash the witch. You know what I'm saying? Why didn't they have her in? It's like they replaced her, the housemaid, with the nanny in the 2001 version. But I'm like, those are two different separate characters, and that the housemaid, which was a slash witch, she played an important factor in this franchise. So I don't understand why would they take her out. I think that her role in part of the story of the plot of the original film was very unique, and it made no sense like for them to swamp roles and bring in a nanny, take out the maid and replace her with a nanny from that. That just made no sense. Okay, I think that that's where they got it wrong with the 2001 version. I think that the housemaid slash the witch, she was a definite key factor, importance, and relevancy of the 1960 version. Also, when you look at the backstory of some of the characters from the 1960 version, it's like, okay, when you look at the story flow, the 2001 flow, it was nothing like that. Okay, you had it like, it was like, the 2001 version, basically, it just kind of like had them go straight to the house and start getting involved with these characters, with these 13 ghosts and all the little plot twists. I mean, that was nothing like the original 1960 version. The 1960 version actually, it was much better because the story plot and the structure, the development of the story, it was carrying, and it was being synchronized, and as if from the beginning to the end, you could see the story structure was so well. Most people may not know that in the 2001 version, they steered away from a lot of stuff from the 1960 version. I mean, when you look at, they just made it seem like, the 13 ghosts, they just start haunting them in the 2001 version, when that's actually wrong. In the 1960 version, if you guys are not understand, there was a pathway in order for the ghosts to start, being in the house and everything, and that was the Ouija board, okay? In the 1960 version, if you remember, if you ever seen the film, if you haven't, go back and watch it. The Ouija board, at the beginning, when the family started playing with the Ouija board a little bit, that was the gateway, that was the passageway for the ghosts to start, doing their thing and everything. But in 2001 version, they made it just like, the ghosts just automatically, as soon as they got there, were already just tormenting the people and everything. No, the actual, they had to come in. There was a pathway with the Ouija board in the original version. Okay, and then when you look at the lawyer, okay, the lawyer, when you look at him, they completely steered away. The lawyer was another key part because he was basically, you could say, one of the key important villains in the film, and then they steered away from him as well. It's almost like the that the guy that was the villain and the gatekeeper, whatever you want, the lawyer, he was the villain. Saying he was part of the plot twist, but they switched the roles around, and Matthew Lillard role was totally different. So I'm just looking at that like, okay, that was, I think, really the 2001 version. I think it really failed on what it needed to do as far as bringing certain characteristics and certain traits and certain structure from the original film. It did a poor job, even though I love the 2001 version of 13 Ghosts. But after going back and watching the 1960 version a couple of times, which I had already watched it, but watching it, going back and seeing it again this weekend like a couple of times, I realized how I actually love the 1960 version more than the 2001 version, even though I still love the 2001 version. But I just think there were a lot of things that was wrong with the 2001 version, with the pros and the cons. When I look at the pros and the cons, I just feel like there were way too many cons with the 2001 version. But that's all I have for you guys. I'm curious to know what you guys think about this. Let me know. Make sure you guys spam in the comments. Let me know if you have watched both versions of the 13 Ghosts franchise. Let me know which one do you think was better, the 1960 version or the 2001 version. But that's all I have for you guys. I'm curious to know what you guys think about this. As I said, you don't see me consistently. I'm a very busy person, but I try to do what I can do for you guys. So until next time, y'all already know what to do. Peace.